Dillian the Body Snatcher right here. It's a champ. Big up to Sporting Icon. Subscribe. Otherwise, I might pay you guys a visit.
Okay, so I watched a very small clip of Eddie Hearn talking to Derek Chisora outside of their little spats that they've been having, talking about who Derek Chisora could potentially fight next. And Eddie Hearn said, what about Dillian Whyte, i.e. a trilogy, or maybe a Luis Ortiz, but we know you don't like Southpaw, so what about Dillian Whyte? Basically, he only really offered him Dillian Whyte. Now, my immediate reaction to that is, if I'm Dillian Whyte, I'm looking at that going, but I've already beat him twice. Second time, definitively, I knocked him out. So clearly you have no structure for me. You have no future plans for me. What happened to their promise of an Anthony Joshua fight? I want a world title shot again at some point. I feel like I've still got a lot to give. You don't have a structure for me because you're offering me Derek Chisora, who does nothing for my future ranking, getting back into world title contention. So why are you offering me Derek Chisora? If I'm Dillian Whyte, I'm taking the hint, I'm packing my bags, and I'm going elsewhere. That's what I'm doing. Now, as far as what Dillian Whyte should do next, now firstly, Dillian Whyte, he's got one of the best resumes in the heavyweight division. Win, lose or draw, he's fought most of the top guys out there. He has. He's defeated a Joseph Parker. He's defeated a Alexander Povetkin. He's defeated Chisora twice. He's defeated Oscar Rivas and a Robert Helenius and so forth and so on. Okay, he's come up short on 3 occasions. Once to Anthony Joshua, who then went on to become a unified world heavyweight champion. Once to a Alexander Povetkin, who was former WBA world heavyweight champion, and then defeated Povetkin in the rematch, and of course to the current WBC world heavyweight champion, Tyson Fury. So Dillian's only lost to the top opposition, okay? So if I'm Dillian, if I've still got ambition to get another world title opportunity to become world heavyweight champion, I'm looking at the ranking system. I'm looking at who's where and when. I'm looking at Filip Hrgović, IBF, mandatory position. I'm jumping on that. If I'm looking at WBO, Joe Joyce, WBO, mandatory position. That's a shortcut straight into world title opportunity again, isn't it? Down Dubois, it looks like he's going to be fighting Alexander Usyk next. So that one's out of the way. So you're only really looking at Hrgović or Joe Joyce. No point really looking at WBC. WBC quite clearly have no love for Dillian Whyte whatsoever, and it's not like Wilder or Ruiz are going to give Dillian Whyte any kind of opportunity. They turned down multiple stupidly high paydays before to fight Dillian, so they're not going to do it now, are they? So I'm certainly looking at Hrgović and Joe Joyce. Outside of that, if they're not available, if you can't get any of those, again, Filip Hrgović is a Matchroom fighter, right? Co-promoted with Matchroom and Wasserman or Sauerlands. So if I'm Dillian Whyte, outside of quick routes to a world title opportunity, then I'm looking at the rankings. I'm looking at thinking, okay, well, who's going to help me with my ranking to get me back up there again? I'm already ranked highly in a couple of organisations, but who's going to boost me that little bit closer? In turn, who's going to put a bit of money in my pocket? Who, from a reputation standpoint, where fans will look at it and go, that's a good fight, and if Dillian Whyte wins, he gets some credit for it. That's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at Otto Wallin. I'm looking at maybe even a Martin Bakole. I'm looking at Arslan Makhmudov. I'm looking at the European heavyweight champion, Ajit Kabiel. I'm looking at these kind of guys because they will help with the ranking, may put a little bit of money in the pocket, get some form of title on the line, and reputationally, people will go, that's actually a good win. So I'm certainly looking at the whole situation, if I'm Dillian Whyte, going, quite clearly, Eddie, you have no plan for me. You promised me a Joshua fight, you're not delivering it. You want me to fight a Derek Chisora, which does nothing for my rankings whatsoever. We don't even know if the public will even be interested in that, no matter your spin jobs. But clearly, you have no future goal for me. And again, you see, this goes back to when I was speaking with Eddie Hearn a couple of years ago, when Dillian was trying to get the WBC mandatory position, when the WBC screwed him and gave it to Dominic Brazil. I was saying to Eddie Hearn, again, it's up here on my channel where I'm speaking with Eddie Hearn, and I'm saying, well, Dillian Whyte should be fighting Dominic Brazil, and Eddie Hearn's telling me, yeah, but there's no money in that fight. I mean, I mean, honestly, he had no care about getting Dillian a world title shot at all. It was all about, well, what about the money? Derek Chisora, part 2, was what Eddie Hearn wanted at that time. Otherwise, Dillian could have had his world title opportunity years ago. Okay? So I'm certainly looking at Matchroom and I'm thinking, quite clearly you don't want me. That's fine. I'll take the hint. You know, you haven't got to tell me directly if you don't want to. I'll take the hint. See you later. And I'm going to start looking at and talking to Frank Warren or Ben Shalom or the guys over there in Saudi. You know, they're looking to pump out their stable. And, of course, they're offering a lot of money. So I'm looking at all options real quick. Okay, so anyway, we'll have to wait and find out what happens. I'm not interested in a Derek Chisora third fight. I've seen it twice. I don't need to see it a third time. I don't. Unless there was some kind of title on the line, a European or something like that. But there's not. There's not even a ranking on the line. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You drop me yours. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you next video.